Okay, good morning, everyone. Let quickly revise our yesterday's session till other students can join, right? So yesterday we talked about the complete roadmap of the full stack developer. Okay, so what do you mean by full stack developer? So if you have a knowledge of front-end technologies and if you have a knowledge of backend technologies and some middleware technologies, if you know, then you are able to get the job of this particular full stack developer. You are called as a full stack developer. After that, we have also discussed about the mean stack and a month stack, right? So it is nothing but the combination of the web development technologies like MongoDB, then Express, Angular, and Node.js, right? That is known as the mean stack. And MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js, right? So that is known as the mon stack, right? So we have complete knowledge of what are the recent terminologies are there in the market and what technology comes under which particular stack. We now able to know that, right? Now from today, we are going to start our actual session, right? Step towards the web development. So we are starting from the very basic, from like baby step, right? From the introduction to internet and how the particular internet is working, right? What is the meaning of domain? What is the meaning of DNS? What is the meaning of port number and all that? So all this information you must know before going for the web development, right? Because these are the basic fundamental terminologies which comes under this particular web development. So let's please start with the introduction of internet, right? So what is internet? So internet is basically a network of network, right? With billions of connected computers. So this kind of network, suppose this is a world and all the net computers are connected. Suppose if you are writing a www.google.com, right? So you are sitting in India somewhere, right? But that particular Google server is somewhere in the USA, in Australia, wherever. There are lots of Google servers they are running. Okay. So from which server you are getting the response, that is not fixed, right? Which is a nearby available. So from that particular server, you are getting the response. But the main thing is you are connecting, you are accessing that particular system from afar, from India to USA, you can say that. So that is because of this particular network of networks. Somewhere you are connected with that particular master, anyhow. And it consists of millions of private, public, academia, business, government networks, right? So according to your requirement, you are creating a network, right? Suppose say for in our GSET, we have an intranet, right? So intranet is limited up to the particular organization or a building. Okay, and internet is you are connected with the global world. Okay, so according to some banking systems are running, right? So that particular also known as a network, business network, finance network, whatever. Governments are running their own applications, so their machines are connected with each other, so it is known as a government network. So likewise you can give any name to particular network according to your requirement, but ultimately the basic thing is all the computers are connected with each other, and because of that you are able to access the information. Now a network is a two or more. So what do you mean by network? We say network of network is the internet, but what is the meaning of network. So two or more computers are connected by the cables or the telephone lines or any communication technology, right? Right now it's a fiber, so it's a infrared light beams and whatever. So more than two computers are connected with each other is known as the network, right? And if you are making a network of network connection, then you are able to access the information from remote machines. Now, the next thing is how this particular thing works. So you have already studied this particular network architecture in computer network subjects, or you are going to study it, right? So internet works on these particular layers. So there are 5 layers: physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, and application layer, right? So each and every layer has its own functionality and has its own advantages, right? Suppose if you talk about the physical layer, then what is the meaning of physical layer? Means devices such as Ethernet, coaxial cables, fiber optic lines, or modems. That particular devices works on which layer, that is called as a physical layer. Suppose say for data link layer, so it's a basic hardware protocols, right? DSL, triple P, Wi-Fi, Ethernet. So once you have a physical layers, then you have to have a data communications, right? So for that, you require some protocols. So that works on the data link layer. After that comes the network or internet layer, right? So it's a basic software protocol. So here you are going to see IP, internet protocol, right? That works on the network layer. After that, transport layer is there. So adds reliability to network layer. Suppose say for TCP, transmission control protocol, UDP, right? Unique datagram protocol. So that particular protocol works on these particular transport layers. And the last is the application layer. So it implements the specific communicator for each kind of program. So suppose if you are talking about HTTP, HTTPS, right, SSH, okay, based on, you can say if you work in a Linux or Mac, then you will have SSH server, that is the connections, or you can say file transfer protocol, that is FTP, right? So these particular protocols are work on which layer, that is known as the application layer. So internet is a layered network architecture, right? And it works on these particular 5 layers. Okay. Now let's talk about a brief history of the internet. Okay. So here you can see that. Let's wait for the next slide. Yes. Okay. So here the Internet of Era is particularly started as a US Department of Defense. So a first network is known as the ARPANET, right? So here you can see the project name is Advanced Research Project Agency that builds in a 1957. Okay, and they have initially provided the services of electronic mails and the file transfer. So basically this particular internet era begins at this specific area for electronic mails and file transfer, and it first project was built in US Department of Defense, right? And that project is known as the ARPANET. Now it is become open to commercial interest, and most of the universities in late 80s have implemented their own networks, right? And after that, World Wide Web created in 1989 to 91 era by Tim Berners-Lee. So as we know that right now a WWW is a big consortium, right? And based on that, it is a one repository distributed system, right? And you see that before each and every domain we are writing www, right? So that is for a specific location. Now, early web browsers released are Mosaic, Netscape, and Internet Explorer in 1995, right? So some of these I have heard about the Netscape and Internet Explorer, but there is the old one is the Mosaic in 1992, right? And after that, Amazon.com opens in 1995 and Google opens in the 1996. So these particular things now become more and more required things, and based on the requirement they are now modifying some technologies, some protocols, right, and they are providing these services. In this particular thing, internet thing, two main protocols are there, right? So the first one is the TCP and the second one is the IP. Because of some network, it's getting very slow. The next slide is visible to everyone, TCP and IP. Yes, right? So two main protocols we are going to deal with, right? One is the TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, is a standard that defines how to establish and maintain the network conversation. Okay, so it works at the transport layer, right? The main job of it is it defines the and establishes the network conversation through which application programs can exchange the data, right? Somehow you have heard about that port 80, port 25, 22, some of the port numbers you are getting, right? So what is the port number? So port number is the number given to each program or a service that is unique, right? So suppose if your MongoDB is working on 27017, right? Or the most common port number 80 is a web client, right? So if your application is working on right now, currently running on this port number 18, then if some another application with the same port number is there, so it is getting conflicted. It is not going to work with, right? So throughout your journey, you may be facing this kind of problems, right? Suppose initially I was facing a problem that when I was running a XAMPP, then Skype is also installed in my machine, then both are getting conflicts with the port number 8, right? So that particular kind of things are there. You can configure the port numbers by your own by modifying some configuration files. Okay, but the most commonly used port numbers are fixed for some applications. Now TCP works with the IP, that is known as the Internet Protocol, and IP, the job of IP is to define how computer sends the packets of data to each other. So both TCP and IP together are the basic rules defining the internet. So if you want to work with the internet, then you have to deal with these particular two protocols, that is TCP and IP, both known as the TCP IP protocol, vice versa, right? Now, so initially, whenever they are designed, they have started with this particular internet era. So there are some problems, some issues are there for the data exchange, right? So we want to send some data from local machine to remote machine, right? So there are some challenges, right? So if I am running with the Mac OS or Linux or Windows OS, the remote machine will work on a different machine, different OS. They have a different formats. They have a different platforms, right? Whether it provides the cross platform interoperability, so these kind of issues will be there, right? So they thought of as a solution that is SGML. So what they need is a standard cross-platform data exchange format. So that can be shared between different platforms, right? So initially they have started with the SGML, Standard Generalized Markup Language, right? So initially HTML is known as the SGML, Standard Generalized Markup Language, and later it is streamed as the HTML, right? Now, what is the full form of HTML? It's a hypertext markup language. Okay. Now, to understand this particular format, they require some base. So they have created a web browser. So we have a web browsers which can understand this particular HTML format, right? And what is a web browser? Web browser is a client software to see and view, or it is a mechanism to identify and connect the particular URLs, right? That is known as the uniform resource locators. So whatever URLs you are passing throughout, that can understand by this particular web browser, which is running on a client side. And it follows some protocol that is known as the HTTP. And in today's world, one modified advanced protocol is HTTPS. It is a more secure than HTTP, right? And HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So according to the services, there are lots of protocols defined for the web development. So the most commonly used is this particular HTTPS FTP, File Transfer Protocol. SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, right? So these are the protocol. What is the protocol? Protocol is a set of rules that is defined for a specific purpose, right? So these are the particular solutions they have found, and now they have started working on it, and they try to provide the more features by using these particular terminologies. Now, as we know, now we have one local and one remote machine, because this is our main goal. I want to transfer some data from local to remote machine, right? So here it works on the basis of server and client terminology. So the internet consists of two types of computers. One is known as the servers, another one is known as the clients. Now you say, what do you mean by server? Both are a machine. There is no difference between that. Both are a machine, right? But server may be high configurations, some different configurations they are going to provide than the client, because they need to serve your requests. So what do you mean by server? So computers which offers the information to be read. Remember this, which offers the information to be read are called as a server. And what do you mean by client? The computer that reads the information offered by a server, that are known as the clients. So this is the definition of client and server. Server offers the information, client reads the information. Now, servers run a special software called web server. As I told you that the configurations and the platforms are different on a servers according to the user's need. Your local machine also can be a server. You can create your local machine as a server, and you can send a request from the client browser to that server and get the response back. That I will show you how. Now, servers run a special software called a web server that allows to respond to client request for information and accept the data from the clients. Now, what are the examples? So it may be Apache Tomcat web server. Right now, Nginx, Light, BP, right? So these kind of servers are there. SQL servers, okay? Oracle servers. There are lots of servers are available in the market right now, right? But these are the two most popular servers at that time. There is one is the IIS, and IIS means Internet Information Services. Internet Information Services, and it works with the Windows. Right now, all the latest Windows 8 or 10, right? They by default have IIS in that particular package. So if you install this particular Windows application, so you don't need to download this. Already IIS server is there. You just need to configure it. I will show you how you can configure the IIS server, and you can make your local machine as a server, right? Another one is the Apache Tomcat servers, if you have heard about. Okay, so that is based on the Unix systems, or the Unix it is going to be used. Okay, so these are the different servers available in the market, and you can use it according to your requirement. You can choose a platform, and you can choose a server. Some are free, some are paid, so you have to deal with it. Now, client runs a special software known as the browser software. So if I want to communicate with the server, then from where I can communicate with the server? So through the browser, you can communicate with the servers. That allows them to locate the appropriate server. It makes the connection, query the server for the information to be read. So suppose if I want to search any document through the Google, so I just need to type a www.google in my client browser. That sends, suppose this is our client machine, google.com, right? And this is a server. So I sends the request, search any document, and server give me back the response. So this is the client server architecture, right? So these particular web browsers runs on a client machine. So that is Netscape, Internet Explorer, Chrome, Mozilla, Safari. Okay. So these are the particular popular web servers. Nowadays, IE is replaced with the Edge. So in recent Windows 10 applications, you will find the Edge web browser. It is more compatible with the Safari and the Mozilla. Okay, now IE is replaced with the Edge. So according to the requirements, they are changing some rules, some protocols. They, because they want to serve you the best, because they also want to stand in a market with the competition, right? So these are the particular browser softwares running on a client machine. Now, the next thing is, now we have a client machine, we have a server, we have a browser. Okay. Now, the next thing is the World Wide Web. So, in a browser, we are writing www.google.com, www.yahoo.com, or www.facebook.com. So you can see for each and every domain you have www common thing. So let's understand what is this www, right? So initially we know that Tim Berners-Lee, so this for company in Switzerland, that is a European organization for nuclear research. They have introduced the project for this. Now, the www, or you can also say the web, is an information space where documents and other web resources are identified by URLs. So that's why we are writing www. But after that, which specific URL, which specific resource I want? A google.com, a yahoo.com, a facebook.com, right? And these particular things is interlinked with the hypertext links. So from there, suppose google.com. So you will get a front page, then language change options are there, English, Gujarati, Hindi, whatever. Okay, search option is there, right? So if you click on that particular link, we get to another. In that, some links are there. If you click on that, you can go to the another links. So it is attached. It is interlinked with the hypertext links and can be accessed via internet. And can be internet. Okay. Now, the first web and client server established in 1990, and it established a common language for sharing information on the computer, because we know that we are dealing with the different machines. In a remote machines, we don't know what are the configuration platforms are there. So you require a one common language, right? It is like, suppose say for example, if I am talking in a Gujarati, some Telugu people and Tamil people are talking in, or some Japanese or Chinese or that people are talking in their language, right? So we can't understand each other's language, right? So if I want to understand the conversation, then one translator is required. So what is that translator? They fix one common language. Suppose say for English, English is a common language across all the countries, right? So now if I speak in a Gujarati, that will be converted into English. If a Japanese people talk in a Japanese, that will be converted into the English. So we both can now share the information. So for that, one common language architecture is required, right? So for that, they were tried and created some like Gopher, Waze, Archie, Zendu, etc. These are the previous attempts they tried. Okay, but www today is a distributed client server service in which client using a browser can access service using a server. So now they have a one common platform, that is a distributed client server service which knows the particular common things, right? And you can access the information via browser. However, service provided is distributed over many locations called sites. It is known as the sites. Okay. Now, let's understand the architecture of www. What is the meaning of it? So whatever conversation up till now we have done, so let's put it in this particular form. Suppose we are a client, we are sending some request. That particular request goes to this particular server. Suppose this is known as the site A, right? So suppose this is our google.com, www.google.com. This is our site. So whatever query we search from the browser, that www.google.com, that will goes to this particular server. It will find this google.com and it requests back in the form of web page. In the form of web page, right? Then this particular web page is understood by the browser at the client machine, and now we are able to see the google.com homepage, whatever page they have linked. Suppose for this is a home page. Okay. Now, suppose if I'm sending one another request, now it is goes to the particular another server. This particular site is known as the site B. Again, the same thing will be happen. It understood my request, and according to that, it sends the response in the form of web page. Again, that is understood by the web browser, and I can see that particular information what I have requested. So this is the architecture of www. It is very simple, guys. Right? You have to send the request, and according to your request, you will get the response. Now, let's understand the architecture of browser. Okay. So in the previous figure, we saw that we are sending a request, server will respond to our request. Now that request comes in the form of web page. So the design of web page will consist any of these: HTML, JavaScript, Java, CSS, whatever. So these are the particular standard markup languages to understand by the web browser. So web browser has a controller, a protocols, right? Some inbuilt interpreters. So what is the job of that interpreters? The job of that interpreters is to understand what these particular languages wants to communicate, right? And it renders this particular HTML page and provides the response to our screen. So this is the internal architecture of this particular browser. So we are not aware of these particular things because browser is also one kind of software, you know, right? So in that, these are the particular things are implemented. These are the particular things are implemented. It is inbuilt. We don't need to worry about it. We just need to get the services from it, right? But you should understand how your web page is going to be interpreted by your particular web browser. Are we clear? Right? So this is the internal architecture of the web browser. Again, what are the popular web browsers are there? So here are the. These are the particular popular web browsers we have right now in the market. Some of are obsolete according to the new technologies and all that, but some are still there with the modified forms. Okay, now we understand that we have a web browser through which we can communicate with the server. Okay, now to communicate to the specific site, what are the things we require? So first, we require the uniform resource locator, that is known as the URL. Now it is also known as the web address or an ID for the location of web resources on a computer network. So this particular thing where resides at a specific location, right? So that will be understood by this. So suppose if I write, for example, http podquiz.net colon 8080, and this is a page, initial page that will be displayed when I send this request to the server. So what is HTTP? HTTP is the protocol. These are the particular host name. This is the particular port name, and this is a specific path. Suppose if index.html, PHP, after that some xyz.php will be there. So this is the whole path to the specific location, right? So who will navigate to this part? We are just writing a one keyword. who will navigate to this, right? So for that, you require this URL, uniform resource locator, that will resides on a remote network machine. Okay, that is known as a web address. And this is the architecture. This is the syntax of a web URLs. Okay, so sometimes we are not defining this port number. Remember, we are also not writing this HTTP. We are just writing some www.google.com. That's it, right? But suppose if I, and after that it will display the index.php or JS according to, or .asp according to your according to the design of that particular technology, right? So JSP is for Java and .aspx is for .NET, right? So by the extension also you will get the idea in which, on which technology or platform programming language this particular site is designed. Okay, so this is a URL. So when you are entering the URL, this will be converted in automatically by the browser. Now some of the examples, what is the purpose of URL? It's a unique names to identify and access. The format is like this. We are only writing this. HTTP is already there. That will be included automatically. Now what happens once you type this? So your server will not understand this particular thing. So later on, it is converted into the IP address. So when you write yahoo.com, so suppose that will be converted into this number, and this number is known as the IP address. It is in an octet format. It is also known as the domain name system, right? So this particular domain name system is converted to IP addresses like this number, right? And these particular things are registers and managed by this particular organization, that is ICANN, Internet Corporation for Assigning Names and Numbers. So someone is responsible for this to manage, right? So that is ICANN. So we don't need to worry about this, who is managing and all that. We are just need to know that this particular URL is converted into the IP address, and later on that will be solved by the server, identified by the server, right? So I hope up to this everything is clear to all, right? So I'm going to end this session over here. Now, if you have any doubts, then you can ask me.